Yeah.
Hi guys, I'm Eco Chef Tom Han, and I'm pretty excited today because I'm here with Olia Hercules. For those watching that don't know you, do you mind introducing yourself?
Yeah, my name is Olia Hercules. I'm a chef and a cookbook writer.
We're making a version of this today.
We're making a version of this
Check
today.
this out. I'm actually really excited. So you're making a plant-based version?
I'm making a plant-based version. Yeah, my husband Joe is vegetarian.
Cool. So let's make it. What do we need to do first?
So I've got pretty much all of the ingredients here, but can we quickly go maybe with Lyra, show her the garden, and I'll get some beetroot, because obviously Borsch is a beetroot soup.
Lyra, do you want to come with us? Hey, bub. Hey, did you find a ball under there? Ball? Is that a new word? Oh, wow.
So he's a baby, but he will do. He's a real little baby, but that's fine.
So cute.
Cute.
Oh, wow.
Beetroot.
So you're going to use the leaves too?
Yeah, I'm going to use the leaves too. So we're going to start kind of like, you don't want them to caramelize too much, but you want to draw the sugar out of the onion and the carrot. And then we're going to, beetroot, I'm not even going to peel it. I'm just going to get rid of these bits, to julienne it.
Yeah.
Beetroot is absolutely, some people grate it, but my mom would be horrified, I think. This is just kind of getting the sugar out. This is an actual, hero vegetable, so it needs to be nicely matchsticked if you can be bothered. But if you can't be bothered, grating it is fine as well. You know what I mean? Like, we're not going
I think it's good to test your knife skills and chop it finely too. It makes a huge difference to the texture of the soup.
Exactly. And I'm going to use the leaves as well, because why not? I mean, they're going to be delicious. And then, because it's still, the end of summer, I've got like a really tired piece of pepper here, and I've got a nice piece of pepper here, and we're just going to slice it and add it to this mixture as well. So let's put the onion in.
Cool. Actually, after reading your book, I was like, Tamsin, we need to build an outdoor kitchen, because
it's so cool.
It feels like it's something we should all have as part of our culture and just don't enough.
Yeah. And it's getting warmer, unfortunately, isn't it? So, I mean, it does make sense. It just, and we traveled all over Ukraine because I wanted to find out what's the history behind these kitchens. Why do we have them? And people say, well, I found out that they existed in one way or another from the late 19th century. But then in the 1950s, after people kind of, settled into life a little bit more, a couple would get married and they would get a piece of land, start growing their vegetables, put their orchard trees in, etc. And they would quickly knock up this one room little structure, like a house. They put a makeshift bed in it and a cooker, or if there was an expert in their village, they would build this masonry wood-fired oven. And they would then build, with the help of your community, of the villagers, they would build the bigger house in the warm months of the year, living in this little summer kitchen. And then in the future, this little building becomes where you cook during the summer, during the warmer months. And all of the women they interviewed, they were like, well, why do they exist? Because then your main house is cleaner. And it gets really hot in Ukraine. Like, people associate it with Russia, but actually it gets intensely hot. It's almost Mediterranean. And then you can open your doors and windows, and if you are doing this, hundreds of jars and, your brine or your jams making or whatever, you've got this aeration, it's much cooler to do it that way, because people didn't have air cons or anything like that, and, so they're very functional places. I might over-romanticize them a little bit, because I've lived away from Ukraine for a long time, and I can look at them almost through like eyes of a foreigner in a way.
Yeah.
But of course, when I interviewed women all over Ukraine, they'd just be like, why are you even interested in this? This is such a common thing. And of course, there are places of graft where people do a lot of hard work. So, but I don't know, still, to me, there are these magical places. So the onions are just kind of, you don't want them to, definitely no burning, and not even getting a little bit of color, but very gentle cooking, not we don't want it to be too intense. It's quite, you know, we're just extracting sugars here very slowly.
Are these beetroots okay?
These beetroots are perfect.
Do you want them in half, or are they the right length?
No, they're the right length.
Okay.
And if you can do these baby ones as well, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
And chop the leaves, the stalks quite finely.
Yeah.
So we're gonna put the carrots in as well, and also tease out their sweetness out of them. So this is our sweet element. Beetroot adds also a little bit of sweetness and earthiness. The tomatoes will give us that kind of like kick of sour. Peppers, again, a little bit of sweetness, if you can slice them afterwards as well.
Yeah.
And then we've got beans as well, which are sometimes used in Borsch, sometimes not.
I've never used them before.
In my part of Ukraine, so these are, I think, Chodmedod's red haricot beans, but you can use red kidney beans, any bean you like, really. I mean, a bean is a bean, and they're all delicious, aren't they, and good for you. I've soaked these and then cooked them this morning, but you can use canned, absolutely. Just drain them and put them in.
Cool.
Cool. So onions and carrots are there.
Yep.
So we're just going to add our beetroot in there.
Beetroot.
Actually, why don't we just add everything in?
Sure.
I'll do
So
it in stages
colourful.
normally, but just like, yeah, so basically again, Borsch can be very different, but where I come from, my grandma would always say that, you know, your spoon has to stand up straight. It needs to be full of vegetables. And actually, in the part of Ukraine that I'm from, if you go to a market, you just see so many beetroots, and there'll be a specific one called Borshevy buryak, which means Borsch, you know, specifically Borsch beetroot, and it's more like like your candy pink.
Okay, so it's a specific species.
Yeah. So if your stuff, if it's getting a little bit dry in here, I just add a little bit of stock, just to kind of give it, moisten it up a little bit. So look at this. This is a proper Borsch. This
So vibrant.
This is going to be really good. Yeah.
I'm going to julienne the cabbage heart as well.
Of course, yeah, perfect. So I either give this to my son and he just munches on it, or absolutely you can do this. And also when you make sauerkraut, add those bits in, just put them on the bottom, and you know, they're like the prized bits. This guy maybe just grate on the rough side of the grater. Yeah. So cabbage we'll add at the very end. We don't want it too squeaky, but we don't want it overcooked. So somewhere in between. Can you smell it? What would you smell, Tom?
Let's have a go. Yeah, I mean, it's super earthy.
Yeah.
With the beetroot,
sweet.
but sweet with the peppers. And I didn't realise that peppers and beetroot went so well together.
Yeah, they really do. And then we're actually, before we add the stock, we're just going to add our fresh tomato and these guys as well. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to take the skins off, and then I'm just going to squash them in there. There you go, there's your fermented tomato. The flavour of it is quite fizzy. Do you want to try a little bit of this guy here, of the big one?
Yeah, I'm really tempted to be slightly macho about it and literally just put the whole thing in my mouth.
Here you go.
Can I want to just
go for it.
I feel like this is going to overwhelm my senses. It's a ridiculous thing to do. I think it is coming out my nose. That is incredible.
Yeah?
And actually I would recommend it. Maybe not one quite that big, but it just pops, and then suddenly your mouth's filled with that fizziness that you're talking about.
Yeah, my mom calls them champagne tomatoes, so let's get another one out. Yeah.
Champagne tomatoes.
Champagne tomatoes, yeah.
I can see why you have a romantic view.
Yeah. So here's another one. So look, the color of this is just becoming more and more interesting, and like all of the tomato juice is getting kind of reduced in there, and then we'll put the fresh one in that I needed to use up. But you can use good tinned tomatoes as well. We're going to add the stock in along with the mushrooms.
That's the dried ceps.
That's the dried ceps. Yep.
Wow.
So that's going in.
Intense flavoured. Yep. And the ceps actually look like duck or meat, don't they?
Exactly.
Kind of really
Yeah. Yeah. And then we're going
supplement the meat
to
well.
add the potatoes in, And that's it really. We're just gonna wait for the potatoes to be cooked. Ah, the beans can go in as well now. So I've got these red haricot beans from Hamidot. So look how, like my grandma.
Will the
apart from
spoon
the,
stand up?
yeah, apart from the color, I think she should berate me for the red color, but it's okay. But she would love the thickness of it, I think. So it's a soup, but it's also kind of a meal in itself, as you can see.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the best ones that I've ever done. Actually, I don't know why.
Wow.
It's very special today.
What perfect timing. We came for dinner
Yeah.
for lunch.
Okay, so no, it's hot.
Okay,
And
10
then we're
minutes.
just gonna add that at the end. 10 minutes. That's it.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Look at this, it's the reveal.
Look, it's so hot in there. The little cabbage got singed on top a little bit, but it's nice.
Beautiful.
It's
I'm
good.
sure that's going to add to the flavour.
Yes. So look, this is definitely
Lunch.
this is definitely grandma approved situation right here.
Wow.
So beautiful color, really just delicious. And of course, as I say, the next day. Wow!
Guys, you've got to make this at home. Magic.
So I've got mushrooms and loads of vegetables in here.
Taste of Ukraine and the summer
The
kitchen.
taste of Ukraine. There you go. And voila!
Wow. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Make sure you check out Olia's new book. Follow her online. The links will be below. And yeah, enjoy.
It was such a pleasure. At some point it will be, but sadly too industrialized.
And you up for signing the book before we go? I don't want to